Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the monthly channel message. Oh wow, another month is up on us. We are coming into July, so this will be for the month of July 2023. Wow, this is June the 30th, and there is the energy. It's like, but our feet are on the ground, we are planted, we're ready to kind of take on this beautiful energy. If you're in the northern hemisphere, then you would be in their summer season with the rest of us. And so there is so much of this beautiful, walking on earth kind of energy that's here, but also having to get, feet on the ground, um, head and heart in alignment, and trusting that if you put the work in, you'll see the effects. You'll see those effects in your life. You'll see those changes in your life. And it really truly takes having to spark your own, light your own fire. It's that you have to really truly light that spark and feel the essence of something that inspires you to feel the passion, to feel that need to turn that light all the way up, to turn the dial, to turn it on, to become that magnetic energy. So there is a magnetism, there is a deep, strong connection. Now, it doesn't mean everything is perfect for July. It just means there's a lot of opportunity in July. Now, right away, we are starting out with the first supermoon. And this first supermoon is July the 3rd. And so we have this Capricorn full moon energy. And this full moon energy is about work, is about, they're diligent. Capricorn energy has this, I would say it's my consumer reports. They put in the effort to really, truly investigate, to search things out. So they only have to do things once. Now, that's not all Capricorns, it's most, but they will be patiently waiting. And so patience is a huge thing, and learning the practice of patience. And just like it takes time for a season to fully bloom, Mother Earth has all the patience in the world, waiting for the flowers, waiting for everything. Takes time. And from a seedling into a big oak tree, whatever it may be, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Not everything happens overnight. Is there those miracle changes and things that happen overnight? Well, of course there are. But patience is one thing to be practiced of when we're putting in the work and we're recognizing it. And Capricorn, like I said, Capricorn energy, in my experience with a lot of the Capricorn energy, is they truly will most likely, never mind the parts of the trauma, not about the human part of our trauma selves, our shadow self, but in truth, they will want to do it once. They'll want to make sure they'll spend the extra time. They focus on all the little details, make sure they got it right, and then they'll do it. And they may end up costing them more money, and it may end up often they will not want to buy the lesser value because they only rather buy it once, right? And so there's just this kind of energy saying, you know what, that's a smart way to often do things, is that if you're patient, if you are committed, if you're loyal, if you're dedicated, if you're willing to dive in deep, if you're willing to kind of let other things just go and just stay focused, then the things that you really truly need and want can start to appear. You start to manifest the life, the dreams, the truths, the opportunities that are waiting for you. But they're waiting for you, but it's your light, and you have to have your light on. And it can't be chasing anyone else's or anyone else's things, or anyone else's future. And if you're chasing someone else's future, or if you're just living in the dreams and the future of what somebody else wants, then you're not living in yours. Now, there's a lot of combined future energy, and there's a lot of people that learn the power of relationships. And we just had this discussion this morning with myself and my business partner, and about how how I've really learned the power of relationships. And it's taken patience and great consideration, and it really, and a good, strong relationship really holds you accountable to each other's end, so there's balance, right? So it's not always balance, but sometimes we're like this. No, it's not always equal. There's balance. there's not always equal. Somebody, at one point, someone may have to pull the line, and other times the other one doesn't have the strength. And so it's you do it knowing that I got you here, you got me here, and in the end, we bring 100%. That's it. You bring 100%. And it's like, but you may have this and I may have that, but I'm not judging that you don't have this right now. And together we bring 100%. And that's kind of, so you bring this version of your masculine energy, your female energy into the center, right? And it's like, okay, sometimes I'm going to be more over here. Sometimes I'm going to be more from my heart, and other times I'm going to be more from my head. But together, we're going to bring this together. And so it's about being able to get deeper and closer to your truth. It's about being able to come into this self and be able to restore this sense of self. Now, July also brings unions and reunions, and I just see there's a lot of unions and reunions and just kind of celebration times. And there are times that we can let go and have fun. So there is a lot of fun energy to work with. There's a lot of joyful energy to work with, along with also meeting our challenges. Now we are meeting bull energies, right? In that full moon. I mean, we're meeting a Capricorn strong energy. And so that means the moon is just turned around and says, you're not reflecting onto me what you have to work on yourself. The mirror, this is a mirror reflection that turns around and turns into you. And it's about you having to see the things within your own life, or the things within you that do need cleaning and clearing, right? You can't see through the glass if the glass is all murky and full of dust. It can't be a smoke and mirrors. So July is about really truly moving beyond the smoke and mirrors. There is and has been for months, has been for years. There's been this falling and collapsing of the veils. And this veil energy is just collapsing and falling. It's like there's no room for bullshit. There's no room for one to do all the work and the other one to do nothing. There has to be that sense that if I'm doing it now, then what are you doing, right? So there's an accountability as well with this. But there is that sense of, you may start to notice that, there is no space or time for that, for the bullshitter. You got to know you, and you got to know what you're doing, and you got to know who you are. But you also there is no time this month or going forward where it's like those masks that are able to fool and trick people so easily. It's like can run their mouths, can tell a great story, could sell you anything, but got nothing to back it. You better have something to kind of back it. You better be putting you better be walking that journey, right? You better be walking your talk. And so really seeing that. And I think that's where you kind of see, I'm going to say the salesman archetype, right? Not the salesman. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's great salespeople and great people. And it's like, but this is in the archetype. When we look at the archetypes, and it's like, or the businessman, is what are you negotiating? What are you selling off? And what's backing your sales? Like what is backing you up? And so looking at that in the way of if you're in a relationship and the one person only puts in the effort when they're called out, only when they're being called out on their bullshit, when you only get pissed, and I mean angry, and then all of a sudden they clean up. It's like your children, right? It's the only time things get done is when you have to lose your crap to get things done. And it's like, and so that is where I think there's a line stopping here and just saying, you know what, this is not working. That doesn't mean you're making changes. You're doing this because I'm angry and you're trying to avoid having to do what needs to be done. So you're just trying to shut me up. You're trying to appease this energy. And there's no more being able to just appease, just to please, right? And so if you're the pleaser that just jumps, or if you get that fight or flight, that freeze fawn response of where the fawn, right? When someone just says, oh my God, like nothing's getting done here today. And you're like, and you just freeze and you just rush and you start to do things. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, how much are you always doing? And how much is the other person doing? Or are you the person who only jumps and you don't do the work on yourself? You don't put the work into the relationship and you only jump and you only run when somebody else points it out. And so that you don't have to deal with the wrath of having the deep, hard conversations. You go do things and you're hoping that that'll just smooth things over. And we're not going to be able to keep just smoothing things over. It's about now with this full moon, with this month of July, it's about really having to do the work. Like you've really got to put the work in. There is no more space, no more room for just being able to smooth it over. We're not just getting by. And the reason why it's not just getting by is because there's a lot more of this energy that's saying, that is stepping up, that is putting the work in, that's doing the work. And there's a lot more, and it's like there's no room for slagging behind here. And so just saying, so if you're on that side and you're that person that keeps doing that, time to put your big girl, big boy panties on and put the freaking work in and start doing what needs to be done and being honest, having those brutally honest conversations that need to happen so that there can be clarity, so that you can have healthy relationships. And that all starts by starting a healthy relationship with yourself, by connecting to that soul self, by really stepping into that. It is big for this month. And so in between all this, I want to just introduce something. One of the new things that we have coming up, and that is the Everyday Goddess Oracle. You have seen me use these cards. And so in the next few weeks, a lot of work has gone into this, and a lot of work is still going into this. They'll be available on the website in a few weeks. They'll be available on Amazon sometimes in the near future. I don't have exact dates because we don't know exactly, but I can tell you it's because we're putting all of the work in to make sure it's correct so that when you're going to purchase, boom, there you are. And so it'll be right. But these are the Everyday Goddess. When you get your box, you open it up, look down first. Look down first. When you get your box, you pull out the tissue paper that's going to be in there and look down, because each and every box is actually hand wrapped. And so each box it's done. These are all hand stuffed by us. And so they have been blessed. And there is a little pink rose, a ribbon wrapped around, and a little pink rose at the top of every single deck in the box. And so this is the new cards. This is the box. This is the book. And here's the cards. So just in between our months. So this is one of the things we have coming out in July. So here's our box. And yet we have a big flip box by an incredible company in Ontario. And I can't remember the name, but I will. And yeah, and this is the Everyday Goddess Oracle card booklet by Copywell Printing in Ontario. Amazing printing company. And these are the cards. And so the cards are being printed by the Color Copy store in the US. And so the work is being, we researched the work, we put the work in, and we found what worked, and we put everything together, and then we could bring the package together. And so that's kind of how the month of July is. And it's taken 3.5 years to do this. So it has taken patience. So it all ties into the message of the month. It really does. And I'm like, couldn't be more fitting for this message. And so if you're on my website, and you'll get an email. If not, go sign up, become a part of my tribe, and you will get the email when they're becoming available for you to purchase. And that's going to be coming up really quickly here. I'll back to the rest of the message, because the book, this ties in. It's patience, right? So when we know that somebody's putting the work in, when you know that you're putting the work into yourself, it takes time. It's like everything takes time to be molded, but it's a time of like this evolution, time of change. So there is changes that will, some things take longer than others, but we know, but we can't hide from what we're not doing. And we all have something. I still have something in my own life. There's things that are happening and recognizing the voices that are, that shadow voice that says, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to connect to that. And you have to ask yourself, why does that conversation keep coming back in? Why do I allow myself to be there and go, that's not true? But then also to not to feel like you have to challenge yourself to a point of where you set yourself up for that failure, because how we approach things is to be done in a much kinder, softer, gentler way than we've previously done it before. And that's where the change happens. So the change that's coming, and how we approach this, and how we work through things, and how we even work with the shadow work of the full moon, where we have to work at those areas where the emphasis, where you feel that rising of that self that is not really your truth, but has to be worked on. And being able to sit and have healthy conversations is that you care enough to know the truth. We do things in a much kinder way, including how we approach our own healing, how we look at our own behaviors, how we look at our own isms. And that's been a huge part of everything that I teach in all of my programs, is that it's not about beating yourself up. It's about being honest with yourself, and then using compassion and love and caring the same way you would for a little child. Is you have to look at that self the same way you would a little child. How would you speak to that child? How would you, so it's, how would you approach that if it was a child? You'd say, you know what? I see what just happened. Now, what do you think that just happened? And what would what do you think we need to do? What do you think we need to do about this? And what's really happening? What's really going on? What do you really fear the most? What really bothers you about this? Why do you always feel the pressure? Why do you always bring what is it that keeps taking you back into that cycle? And with love, caring, and compassion to be able to deal with those. So looking at yourself in the mirror and getting serious, looking in, and not to judge, but without the eyes of judgment, and just say, this has happened so many times. How do you think this has happened? Why has this happened again? Why are we here again? And just ask yourself, what do I keep doing? Why do I keep repeating? And sometimes it's not even that you've even done anything wrong. It's the fact that you're chasing. It's the fact that you're chasing. So July is about being magnetic, not about chasing. It's about standing and being grounded and rooted in that light and still doing the work, but not chasing, and allowing the things to come in. So when you're always having to chase life, chase a person, chase your secrets, chase your insecurities, chase that secret that you refuse to tell anyone, but people know, but nobody talks, and it just never gets spoken about. And you sit down with it, and you sit down with it yourself, and then you go to the people that are the most important, and you engage in that conversation. And so it doesn't even have to be the person who the secret's about. It doesn't have to be a secret about anybody. It's that it may be even a total stranger. It may be a psychologist. It may be a life coach. It may be someone who you just need to talk to. Just need to get it out of you, extract it, so that you can see this ball, and so that you can see the after effects of everything that is happening because of this one thing. The original cause is now the original source is long gone. The original source of where this came from is long gone, but you're left with the karma, the resonance of this, the remnants of it. And so that's where your karma comes out. It's the cause and effects, right? But the karma comes out in how you keep repeating behavioral patterns, and how you keep thinking about things, and how your emotions tie to it, your attitude. So your attitude towards it, your actions, your continued cycles that are happening, because the karma is having an effect upon you and your life. So the impact is impacting your life, and it's causing you to constantly have to face this. Whereas if we take it out and we look at it, and it probably is not near as big as that it was, but now it's out. Now it's here. And once it's out, it's not going back in. It's out. So now you've been able to start detaching from the karmatic energy that is a part of this story. And this begins a new journey. And now there's space in here for your light, for a new truth, a new sense of knowing. If this was somebody else who had this secret, how many people would you have known that you would have support, that you'd be kind to, that you would have been gentle, that you would have given them the best pep talk, you would have motivated them, you would have helped them through transform it, whatever it may have been. But for yourself, you made yourself the enemy. How many times does that happen in our lives? How many times does that happen in our lives? And so here we are looking at this, and we can't be magnetic to all the good things if we're going to be magnetic to everything that ties to this karma, that ties to this. It ties into our physical body, our mind, body, soul connection, right? And so everything, because it's materialized, it's growing. And once we can release it and we can take it out, we start to find out something new. We start to discover something new, start to find out something new about ourselves. And we can dissect it, and then we can allow it to be taken, give it to Archangel Michael, bring it back, transform it, send it back to me as love, wisdom, to guide me forward, to move me forward, to allow me to be moved by this. This is too big for me. I need help. I need guidance. This is too big for me to carry anymore. I'm done carrying this. I'm done holding this. I'm done having this. I'm ready. I give this to you. I don't know what to do with this. You do. Give you this. I give this to the universe. I give this to God. I give this to wherever you give it to. And just be patient with the return. Be very patient with the return on your investment, right? This was costing you more than you could afford to lose. How many times does this happen to us? And what's been costing us more than we can afford to lose, when we finally release it, we finally let it go, we now have space. And when we got that space, now we got room to start investing. Now, how can I start investing into me? What do I need to now do? And it is honesty. It is the truth. It is, what do I honestly need? What do I honestly have to start doing? And you start to recognize that's not my way anymore. I'm not going that way. I'm not doing this. This is going to be hard work, but I can do this. I can make this happen. What can I let's go over here? And things just start to break away and start to fall away, and things start to change. And I don't know who needs to hear this today, but for some reason, this is the message, and it ties into the whole month of July, and not just July, but into your future and moving forward, because these are all those veils of illusion. So all the stories now start to leave, all the things start to leave, and the beautiful life you've been waiting for and the beautiful truth you get to walk into. And you get to probably walk into with the people that you absolutely love, because kindness to self really truly becomes a ripple effect of kindness out into the world. And so the kindest thing we can do is free ourselves of the chains, those ball and chain things that hold us down, that keep us walking into patterns, people, behaviors, places that we know are not our truth, that do not align to us, and to feel free of that, to set ourselves free, because there is a beautiful, fresh energy. There's a heat, there is color, there is all things beautiful, and there's still a Christmas. There's just so many things that are happening, and there's so many things that are in full bloom and blossoming, and so much growth that is happening. Embrace it, embody it, and allow yourself to step into this month, because it just got so much potential and so many beautiful things. And I feel like I could just talk about this forever today. And I just would, and I'm just like leaning into this moon, leaning into this truth, leaning into this energy, and just saying, this will, this is time that I'm ready now. And so whenever, that you're not just going to try to smooth it over, not just going to try to blanket it, cover it up, stick it underneath the rug anymore. It's time of change. And it's a beautiful opportunity, but it is not to be done harshly. It's not to be done with such judgment. It's not to be done with torturing yourself. It's to be done in such a way that it is freeing, because there's a beautiful freedom waiting. And there's a beautiful sense of being at peace. But as long as you chase peace, as long as you chase money, as long as you chase anything, like in that way, you'll never have it, because it'll never be within the reach, because you're chasing it. If you're not home, if you're not in your own light, if you're not in your own space, if you're not available, if your heart's not open, if your hands are not free, you're not here. You're too busy chasing. Got to be available, got to be home, got to be there to answer the call, to be magnetic. You got to be in your relationships. You can't be in a relationship and not be in a relationship. And that includes the one with yourself and your soul. If you're not there, you're out chasing everything else, you're not in your relationship. If you're out chasing somebody else's dreams, you're not in your dreams. If you're out chasing a future out of fear, you're chasing something that is a non-existent. If you're out there, you can't be here. And it is time to come back home here and to turn the lights on, to not be afraid to turn the lights on, open the window, scream out, I'm home, I'll stay here, I'll do the work, I'll clean it up, I'll renovate it, I'll do whatever I got to do within me to be my best, truest self. And I'm ready to do it. And I'm available. I'm here. And it's time to be here. And it's time to bring this in and be invested into what matters the most, the truest relationships, whatever it is, because you will be a magnet towards everything that this beautiful world has for you. And I can tell you this truly does work. And I feel like I'm preaching for the divine today. I know this message is coming from the divine. I know this is coming from God. I know I'm channeling through this from God. And there's just so much love to this. And I just want to preach it out today. And I'm like, just be patient though. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to start putting the work out, but not being afraid. Time to come out from the dark, time to come out from the shadows. And one of my greatest things in my more than existing book, I think I ever wrote that I live by now, is I allow my shadows to walk through my light with love. So that parts of myself can also be integrated into a light version of myself, something of myself that can be utilized, not the parts of it's not to be rejected, but how can I use that self, a version of myself, to become even better version of myself? How can it be turn that story around, turn that version of ourselves around, integrating that self that has persistence, that has determination, that can do those things. Really look at that. That's your journey this month. I hope this inspires you. And yeah, you're going to go to my website and you can join my tribe and you can get the updates of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. So excited. They are now fully done. And More Than Existing, my first book, has been revised and it is now available on Amazon. Make sure if you're ordering that it says that it's being sold by me and not by any other company, and that it has this white on the top with this gold print. If it all just looks like this all the way up, that's not my book now. I've taken back my book. And so this is revised and it's in a much thicker book. It's got 300 pages, white at the top. So this is More Than Existing. It's like reading a whole new book. If you had the first book, I suggest you get the book again, try it again, because like myself, the book has evolved. Second book is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. And this one's also available on Amazon. Signed copies are available. And if you want the signed copies, of course, you can't get them directly on Amazon. You will have to reach out to us. It do cost a little bit more. We have to send them out ourselves, but they are available. So do reach out and get on the list so that you can get the updates. These books will be available, very early in July, but we're not rushing it. Things just got to be done. And there will be a class coming up in September as well. If you go on to the website and you go to the Academy for the upcoming classes, there is a new level 1 of More Than Existing starting September, the beginning of September. I'm so excited to be teaching the 6th generation, we call it, of level 1. It was going to be the 6th class to go through the level 1 program. And so I'm so excited to have that coming up as well in September. We'd love to get signed up for that. There is a $500 discount right now for early sign up, early bird sign up if you sign up early. So yeah, you can take advantage of that as well. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much. All the details are in the links below on my YouTube page, and everything else is it's all on the website as well. Go CorrieThorne.com. Have a beautiful month of July, and you'll be seeing me for all the weeklies. Much love. Bye-bye.